Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. In this video, we are going to cover the current affairs of 25th of May. For mobile optimized ebooks, please install GKToday Academy app, and here you can get the current affairs in quiz format as well as in the easy digest format. And this is how you can attempt the quiz. Now for regular updates, please join our Telegram channel. This is the name of Telegram channel, GKToday YouTube. Now we have started a new channel, Civils Academy. So in this channel you will find the relevant content for UPSC examinations and for various state PCS examinations. So if you find it relevant, then you can subscribe to it. The link of this channel as well as the link of Telegram and link of GKToday Academy app is given in the description box. Please check that. Now let's start. The University Grants Commission, that is UGC, has directed universities to use the online courses of which portal for transferring credits. So UGC directed universities to use the SWAM portal of MHRD to transfer the credits. So as per the UGC guidelines on credit framework, the students may enroll for the MOOC. What is MOOC? It stands for Massive Open Online Courses. So students may enroll for these courses and can avail credits from July 2020. Who will fix the domestic airfares of India for 3 months when domestic flights resume after lockdown? So Civil Aviation Ministry is going to fix the prices for 3 months after resumption of the flights. So the ministry will fix the upper and lower limit based on the route, and therefore it will ensure that the ticket prices are affordable, specifically during this time of financial crisis due to this pandemic situation. Now, the Ministry of Civil Aviation was also in news because of various other initiatives. One is Udan, another one is Lifeline Udan, and Krishi Udan. So these three initiatives are associated with Ministry of Civil Aviation. Present Minister is Hardeep Singh Puri, and he is also the Minister of Housing and Urban Affairs. Which country recently announced its decision to withdraw from Open Skies Treaty? So it was recently announced by USA that it is going to withdraw from this Open Skies Treaty, and this is a 35 countries treaty that allow unarmed surveillance flights over the territories of other member countries. That means suppose USA can send surveillance flights over the territories of Russia. So this decision was announced by US President. Now USA was also in news as recently US appointed Ashok Michael Pinto as US representative to IBRD. US was also in news as recently it appointed Manisha Singh as US envoy to OECD, that is Organization of Economic Cooperation and Development. The headquarters of OECD is in France in Paris. In fact, the Secretariat of FATF is also in the headquarters of OECD. FATF is an initiative of G7, and recently US President announced that the G7 summit may be organized in person instead of organizing it virtually. So it is important to note that USA is the host of G7 summit this year, and if it is going to be organized in person, Camp David is the proposed location for this event. Now coming back to this Open Skies Treaty, so Kyrgyzstan is the only country which has signed this treaty but not ratified it. On which day the World Day for Cultural Diversity for Dialogue and Development is celebrated every year. So it is celebrated on 21st of May, and UNESCO is working to promote the culture as a part of its Share Our Heritage campaign. The headquarters of UNESCO is in France in Paris, and France is the host of 2024 Summer Olympic Games, while USA is the host of 2028 Summer Olympic Games. Recently 2020 Summer Olympic Games were in news. Japan is the host of these games, and recently these were postponed to 2021. Which year has marked the first official observance of International Tea Day? So for the first time it was celebrated in 2020, and the theme was harnessing benefits for all from field to cup. Shamla Ji Bhave, who passed away recently, was associated with which field? So she was associated to music, and she was well known for her command over both Hindustani and Carnatic music. Now, apart from her, recently few other personalities were in news. Recently, Jahanabi Fukan was in news as she has been appointed as the national president of FICCI Ladies Organization. Apart from her recently, Naomi Osaka was in news. She is from Japan and she became the world's highest paid female athlete as per the Forbes magazine. She is from Japan. In addition to her, recently Ashley Cooper was in news. He was a tennis legend and he passed away recently. He is from Australia. Recently, Australia was in news as the researchers of Monash University recorded the highest data speed of 44.2 Tbps, that is terabits per second. So this is the highest ever internet speed which was observed by the researchers in Monash University of Australia. GFR has been in news for amendments related to procurement of government. What is GFR? So it is General Financial Rules, and as per the recent rules, the goods and services valued less than 200 crores will be procured from domestic firms. So this will give a boost to MSME sector. It is important to note that the Prime Minister in Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan focused on the indigenous products. Therefore, the government has notified the rules, and now the goods and services which are worth less than 200 crores will be procured from the domestic firms. As per the recent announcement of RBI, what is the updated repo rate? So recently, RBI announced few changes, and as per this, repo rate is 4%. It has been reduced from 4.40, while reverse repo is 3.35%. Now, in yesterday's news section, by mistake, I had mentioned that MSF, that is marginal standing facilities, 4.65. No, this was the previous rate. Now it is 4.25%. Similarly, bank rate is also 4.25%. Now RBI was also in news as recently RBI extended Rs 15,000 crores credit line to Exim Bank. RBI was also in news as it announced moratorium for loan payments for 3 months. Which country is the leading manufacturer of PPE body coveralls? PPE stands for personal protective equipment. So China is the world's largest manufacturer, while India is on second position. Oil and Natural Gas Corporation, that is ONGC, partnered with which public sector enterprise to set up a joint venture company for renewable energy business. So ONGC and NTPC have announced their partnership for this renewable energy business. Now, if we talk about renewable energy sector, we have MNRE, that is Ministry of New and Renewable Energy. And recently MNRE was in news because of solarization project of Konark Town and Konark Sun Temple. And for this purpose, MNRE is going to provide the entire financial support. Konark is in Odisha, and recently Odisha was in news as it passed an ordinance for contract farming. It is important to note that Tamil Nadu is the first state in our country to pass a law regarding contract farming. If we talk about ordinance, Article 123 and Article 213 are related to ordinance powers of President and ordinance powers of Governor respectively. That means Article 123 is related to President powers of ordinance and Article 213 is related to the powers of Governor to issue ordinance. Rayalaseema lift irrigation scheme, which was in news recently, was proposed to be implemented in which state? So it is related to Andhra Pradesh, and recently it was in news because of an NGT order which stayed this particular project. So this was in news because of an NGT order which stayed this particular project. What is NGT? It is National Green Tribunal. Why it stayed this project? Because of the environmental impact. So for this purpose, NGT constituted a committee to study the environmental impact of this particular project. Now NGT stands for National Green Tribunal. It is a statutory body and it has been constituted as per the NGT Act of 2010. The principal bench of NGT is in New Delhi, while the other benches of NGT are in Bhopal, Pune, Kolkata and Chennai. And the chairperson of NGT is retired judge of Supreme Court. What is the name of internship program launched by Environment Minister associated with biodiversity? So the name of this program is Biodiversity Sanrakshan Internship Program. And for this purpose, NBA, that is National Biodiversity Authority, and UNDP India collaborated. It is Biodiversity Conservation Program and it is 1 year internship program for postgraduate. Now apart from this, one more initiative was launched, and this is Not All Animals Migrate by Choice. So this is a campaign to spread awareness about animal migration, and it has been launched by WCCB in partnership with UNEP against illegal trafficking of endangered species and to spread awareness about these species. What is WCCB? It is Wildlife Crime Control Bureau. It is under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. What is NBA? It is National Biodiversity Authority. So it was established in 2003 as an statutory body, and it is also under Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change. And this has been established to implement the provisions of Biological Diversity Act of 2002. Dibru-Sakhova National Park, which was seen in news recently, is associated to which state? So it is associated to Assam, and recently it was in news because of the oil exploration permissions to Oil India Limited. Now, due to several environmental issues, Oil India Limited is not going to enter into this national park. However, it is going to use ERD technology for the exploration. What is ERD? ERD stands for Extended Reach Drilling. That means they are not going to enter into the national park to explore it, and they are going to connect horizontal underground pipeline from the main shores, and then they are going to explore it from a distant area. So this ERD technology is related to drilling. What is the theme of International Day for Biological Diversity? So every year on 22nd of May, this International Day for Biological Diversity is celebrated, and the theme was Our Solutions Are in Nature. So 22nd of May is International Day for Biological Diversity, while 23rd of May is World Turtle Day. Which Indian state is set to launch Everybody Will Get Employment scheme? So this has been announced by Madhya Pradesh, and the objective of this scheme is to provide Manrega cards to the laborers of state. Now Madhya Pradesh was also in news because of Charan Paduka campaign. The state was also in news because of Jeevan Shakti Yojana. Answer in comment box what is the objective of this particular scheme. So these were the most important questions of today's quiz. Now we are going to cover important news. So if you want current affairs only in question answer format, you can skip this section. So the first news is related to import duty. So the import duty on green energy equipment has been increased by 20%. What is the meaning of import duty? It means you have to pay this much extra amount if you are going to import something from outside India. So why this import duty has been increased? This has been increased so that people purchase from the domestic suppliers, and this will give focus to the domestic manufacturing. Next news is related to IRDAI. It is Insurance Sector Regulator, and recently it was in news as it approved Union Bank of India's proposal to continue with its 30% holding in India First Life Insurance. However, it specified that the bank will not exercise any control in the management of the India First Life Insurance. It is important to note that as per IRDAI guidelines, it prohibits a bank to own more than 10% of stake in two insurance companies. Next news is related to World Bank. So recently, the Indian economist Abhas Jha has been appointed as the practice manager for climate change and disaster risk management for South Asia by World Bank. So he has been appointed as the practice manager for climate change and disaster risk management. Next is related to Facebook. So recently Facebook and Samsung partnered to train the offline retailers to go digital. That means they will provide training so that these offline retailers can start their business online. Next is related to another collaboration, and Maruti Suzuki has collaborated with this Cholamandalam Investment and Finance to start this buy now and pay later. That means you can buy a vehicle now, and for that vehicle you need to pay later. Next is related to Edelweiss General Insurance. So it recently launched a new platform, Edelweiss Switch, and with the help of this initiative, it allows the owners of vehicles to cover multiple vehicles in a single insurance policy. That means you need not to have different insurance policy for different vehicles. You can have one single insurance policy and you can connect all vehicles through this policy. Next is related to a committee which has been set up under the chairmanship of Rajesh Bhushan to reform the drug regulatory system in our country. Next news is related to Rights Limited. So recently Rights Limited was in news as it had signed an agreement to buy 24% stakes in the IRSDC. What is IRSDC? It is Indian Railway Station Development Corporation. So this organization is responsible for the redevelopment of railway stations, and IRSDC is a joint venture of RLDA, that is Railway Land Development Authority, and Ircon International. What is Rights Limited? Previously it was known as Rail India Technical and Economic Service. So this is engineering consultancy company which was established by government in 1974. Next news is related to Umang app. So recently IMD integrated 7 weather services in this Umang app. What is IMD? It is India Meteorological Department. It is under MOES, that is Ministry of Earth Sciences. What is Umang app? This is an app for integrated services. This has been launched by MEITY, that is Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Next news is related to Restart Initiative. So this has been announced by Andhra Pradesh, and this is for MSME sector. To revive the MSME sector, this has been announced. Next is related to Airtel. So recently Airtel decided to acquire 10% stakes in artificial intelligence startup VoiceZen, and this is a Gurugram based startup company. So these were the most important news events of today's video. Now homework for you. So recently Khudol initiative was in news. Answer in comment box, what is this initiative? One more thing, if you want to score better in any exam, you should be ready to do some extra efforts. The main purpose of this news section is to provide you something more than what others are studying. So if you are not ready to do some extra effort, then you should sit down and relax and let others study peacefully. Thank you, and that's all for the day.